Welcome to Awakening Information channel, where we explore the secret to longevity and health from the precious medicinal treasure of Vietnamese nature. From wild forests, wild lands, rivers, streams, to small gardens in the countryside, each wild medicinal species can be a miracle medicine. In today's video, we will learn together and use them safely and effectively. In today's interconnected world, an outbreak halfway around the world can become a threat right at our doorstep, in just a matter of hours. Recently, the World Health Organization has been constantly warning about the rapid spread of a disease whose name is quite unfamiliar to many people, Chikungunya. From historic outbreaks in Africa, to the pandemic sweeping the Indian Ocean island nations, and now unprecedented large outbreaks in our neighboring countries. This disease not only causes high fever, but also leaves behind painful sequelae that last for months, even years, leaving the patient exhausted. It is known as the pain that bends. So what exactly is Chikungunya? What is the scientific mechanism behind it? Why is Vietnam, although it has not recorded any community cases, on high alert? In the next 30 minutes, we will analyze and decode all aspects of this invisible enemy and how to prevent it. Let's start exploring together. 1. Decoding the virus and the transmitter. To understand the disease, we first need to understand the agent that causes it. Chikungunya is a viral disease, abbreviated as CHIKV. The name comes from the Tanzanian Makonde word, which means something that makes one bend over, which accurately describes the patient's posture due to the excruciating joint pain. Scientifically, CHIKV is an RNA virus belonging to the Togaviridae family. Its structure is relatively simple, but its ability to cause disease is extremely effective. When it enters the human body, its main target is fibroblasts and macrophages, especially in the joints, muscles, and skin, causing a violent inflammatory response. But this virus cannot move on its own. It needs a means of transport, a sophisticated accomplice, the Aedes mosquito. Specifically, there are two species, Aedes aegypti, also known as the house mosquito, and Aedes albopictus, the Asian tiger mosquito. These are the mosquitoes that transmit dengue fever and Zika in Vietnam. They prefer urban environments, breed in even the smallest clean water containers, and have the habit of biting people during the day, especially early morning and late afternoon. The infection cycle is as follows. A female mosquito sucks the blood of a person in the acute stage of viral infection when the concentration of virus in the blood, viremia, is very high. The virus will enter the mosquito's midgut, multiply, and spread to the salivary glands. This process takes about 10 days. From there, this mosquito becomes a mobile biological weapon. Each time it bites a healthy person, it injects the virus into their blood, starting a new infection. 2. Global spreading journey. Chikungunya is not a new disease. It was first recognized by the medical world in 1952 in Tanzania. For decades, the virus circulated mainly in Africa and some parts of Asia in small transmission cycles. The turning point came in 2004. A Chikungunya epidemic broke out in Kenya, then spread like wildfire across the Indian Ocean island nations, infecting millions of people. Scientists discovered the cause. The virus had acquired a key mutation in the E1 envelope gene, called the A226V mutation. This mutation allows the virus to replicate and be transmitted much more efficiently by the Asian tiger mosquito, Aedes albopictus, which has a wider distribution range than Aedes aegypti. The scientific evidence. A study published in the journal PLOS Pathogens demonstrated that this mutation increased the virus's ability to be transmitted by Aedes albopictus by 100 times. This is the key to the global outbreak of Chikungunya. The virus then continued its journey. In 2013, it first appeared in the Americas, and within a year had infected more than 1 million people. And now, in 2025, we are seeing major outbreaks in Asia, right next door, with tens of thousands of cases reported. Globalization with the movement of people and goods, has transformed chikungunya from a regional problem into a global public health threat. 3. The pain stage. What makes chikungunya particularly frightening is not only its acute symptoms, but also its lingering sequelae. The course of the disease is often divided into 3 stages. Stage 1. The acute phase. After an incubation period of about 3 to 7 days, the patient suddenly develops a very high fever, which can reach up to 40 degrees Celsius. At the same time, the most characteristic symptom appears: severe polyarthralgia. The pain is often symmetrical, severely affecting the small joints of the hands, wrists, feet, and ankles. The pain is described as a prickling sensation, leaving the patient almost immobile. About 50% of patients will have a skin rash. This stage usually lasts from 7 to 10 days. Stage 2. Subacute stage. After the fever subsides, many patients continue to suffer from prolonged joint pain or relapses within the next 3 months. Stiffness in the morning is very common. Stage 3. Chronic stage. This is the most severe sequela of chikungunya. A significant proportion of patients, according to studies, can be from 30% to 60%, will develop chronic arthritis, lasting for months, even years. Scientific evidence. A long-term follow-up study published in the journal Arthritis and Rheumatology showed that nearly 50% of chikungunya patients still had symptoms of joint pain after 6 years. This condition not only causes physical pain but also seriously affects the quality of life, ability to work, and can lead to depression. 4. Chikungunya and dengue fever. How to distinguish them? In Vietnam, when a person has symptoms of fever, rash, and aches, the first thought is often dengue fever. These 2 diseases have many similarities because they are both transmitted by Aedes mosquitoes and have some similar initial symptoms. However, distinguishing them is extremely important because the treatment and monitoring are completely different. Regarding prominent symptoms, with chikungunya, it is severe joint pain to the point of losing the ability to move. Meanwhile, with dengue fever, the more typical symptoms are muscle aches throughout the body, severe headaches, often described as pain like breaking bones. Regarding bleeding, dengue fever has a high risk of causing bleeding complications such as nosebleeds, bleeding gums, subcutaneous bleeding, and the most dangerous is shock due to thrombocytopenia and blood concentration. This risk in chikungunya is very rare. Regarding rash, chikungunya rash is usually maculopapular, while dengue rash is usually purpuric. Regarding sequelae, chikungunya leaves chronic arthritis sequelae, while dengue fever usually recovers completely after the dangerous stage, although the body may be tired for a while. Because dengue fever can be fatal if not closely monitored, absolutely do not self-treat at home. In particular, do not arbitrarily use anti-inflammatory pain relievers such as aspirin or ibuprofen without ruling out dengue fever, because they can increase the risk of bleeding. When symptoms appear, go to a medical facility immediately. Doctors will rely on clinical symptoms and hematological tests, antibody tests, or PCR to make an accurate diagnosis. High-risk groups, special risks for women and children. The painful stages we have just analyzed can happen to anyone. However, for pregnant women and children, chikungunya is not just a disease, but also a threat with very specific complications and manifestations. We need to consider these risks carefully. For pregnant women, the biggest concern is the health of the fetus. So can chikungunya virus be transmitted from mother to child? The answer is yes, but this risk does not occur throughout pregnancy but is concentrated mainly at an extremely sensitive time, the period of labor and delivery. This is called perinatal transmission. Scientific evidence. Studies published in the medical journal, The Lancet Infectious Diseases have indicates that if the mother is infected with the virus during the acute phase, with the virus in her blood, right around the time of birth, the transmission rate to the baby can be as high as 50%. The virus does not easily cross the placenta in the early stages of pregnancy, but during birth, exposure to the mother's blood and body fluids can cause the newborn to become infected. And when a newborn is infected with chikungunya, the illness is often very severe. The The child may have a high fever, refuse to feed, have a rash all over the body, and in severe cases, it can lead to dangerous neurological complications such as encephalitis, meningitis, or cardiovascular problems, blood clotting disorders. This is called neonatal chikungunya and requires special medical care. Therefore, protecting pregnant women from mosquito bites is a top priority. If a pregnant woman has suspected symptoms, it is extremely important to go to the hospital for diagnosis and close monitoring. Urgent. In children, especially young children who cannot yet speak, diagnosing chikungunya can be a challenge. Children cannot say, "My joints hurt," so parents need to look for indirect signs. Suggestive signs in children include sudden high fever and severe crying, difficult to soothe, refuses to move. Toddlers may suddenly refuse to stand or walk. Older children may limp. Younger children may cry when picked up or changed because of pain in their joints. Skin manifestations are very characteristic. Unlike adults, children, especially infants, may develop blistering, fluid-filled lesions on the skin that look like burns. This is a fairly important sign. Although most children will recover after the acute phase, some may still have persistent joint pain, affecting school and daily activities. Neurological complications such as seizures due to high fever is also a risk that needs to be monitored. Caring for children with chikungunya at home focuses on two main factors. Reduce fever safely. Only use paracetamol according to the correct dosage for weight and doctor's instructions. Absolutely do not use aspirin on your own. Replenish water and electrolytes. Encourage children to drink plenty of water, fruit juice, or oral rehydration solution. Most importantly, when seeing children with the above unusual symptoms, parents need to take their children to see a pediatrician immediately for accurate diagnosis and treatment instructions, avoiding unfortunate complications. 5. Them in the storm, risk assessment. The biggest question right now, what is the real risk to Vietnam? Although there have been no domestic infections recorded during this outbreak, we are converging all the elements of a powder keg that can explode at any time. First, the enemy is already there. Aedes aegypti and Aedes albopictus mosquitoes are widely distributed throughout the country, from urban to rural areas. We have been struggling with diseases caused by them, especially dengue fever, every year. Second, the ideal climate conditions. Vietnam has a tropical monsoon climate, hot and humid all year round, especially the long rainy season, creating countless breeding grounds for mosquitoes, shortening their life cycle and increasing the rate of disease transmission. Third, strong trade and tourism. Vietnam has a long border and close trade and tourism relations with many countries in the region, including those with strong chikungunya outbreaks. An asymptomatic carrier can easily enter the country, be bitten by local mosquitoes, and initiate a new infection cycle in the community. Recognizing this risk, the Vietnamese health sector has activated high-level prevention measures, strengthening surveillance at border gates, monitoring suspected symptomatic cases in hospitals, and especially integrating the chikungunya prevention campaign into the National Dengue Prevention Program. 6. Prevention is better than cure, our actions. For chikungunya, as with dengue, there is still no specific treatment, and the vaccine is not yet widely available in Vietnam. Therefore, the most effective and sustainable disease prevention measure is to control disease vectors. This is not the responsibility of the health sector alone, but of each individual and each family. Make these actions a weekly habit. Eliminate mosquito breeding grounds. Turn over all objects that can accumulate water. 4 large water containers. Cover them tightly or release fish to kill larvae. Regularly scrub the walls of tanks, jars, and pots to remove mosquito eggs. Clean the house and surrounding environment. Clear bushes, unclog drains, and do not leave objects such as tires and old bottles that create stagnant water. In addition, take the initiative to protect yourself from mosquito bites. Wear long-sleeved, light-colored clothes. Sleep under mosquito nets, even during the day. Use mosquito repellent creams that have been proven safe and effective. Use mosquito coils, electric rackets, and mosquito traps appropriately. And finally, when you or a loved one has symptoms of fever and joint pain, especially if you have just returned from an epidemic area, go to a medical facility immediately for diagnosis and advice. Your timely actions not only protect your own health, but also help prevent the disease from spreading to the community. However, a scientific, nutritious diet plays an extremely important role in strengthening the immune system, helping the body have better resistance to fight against virus attacks, supporting the treatment process, alleviating symptoms, especially inflammation and joint pain, speeding up the recovery process, providing energy and essential nutrients for the body to repair damage. Below are important food groups and nutrients that help support the body in the fight against the Chikungunya virus. 1. Top priority: rehydration and electrolytes. High fever is the main symptom of Chikungunya, causing severe dehydration and electrolyte loss, making the body tired and exhausted. Filtered water: need to drink more than usual, drink small sips and continuously throughout the day. Fresh coconut water is an excellent source of natural electrolytes. Potassium, sodium, helps to rehydrate effectively and provide energy. Diluted fruit juice, orange, lemon, grapefruit, watermelon, provide vitamins and water. Should be diluted to reduce sugar. Orsol solution, use according to instructions if there are obvious signs of dehydration. Soups: thin porridge, Malabar spinach soup, squash soup, chicken porridge, both provide water and are easy to digest. 2. Immune-boosting foods, rich in vitamin C. Vitamin C is a powerful antioxidant, essential for the function of immune cells. Guava, the king of vitamin C among popular fruits in Vietnam. Citrus fruits: orange, tangerine, lemon, grapefruit. Dark green leafy vegetables: broccoli, spinach, Malabar spinach. Bell peppers, kiwi, strawberries. 3. Natural anti-inflammatory foods. Chikungunya's severe joint pain is caused by the body's strong inflammatory response. Adding anti-inflammatory foods will help reduce pain and discomfort. Turmeric: curcumin in turmeric is a very powerful natural anti-inflammatory. You can add turmeric to braised or stir-fried dishes or drink a glass of warm turmeric milk. Ginger has anti-inflammatory and pain-relieving properties. A warm cup of ginger tea can help soothe pain and aid digestion. Fatty fish, rich in omega-3 salmon, mackerel, herring, basa. Omega-3 fatty acids help regulate the body's inflammatory response. Berries: strawberries, blueberries, contain many antioxidants and anthocyanins that help fight inflammation. Green leafy vegetables contain many antioxidants and vitamins that help the body fight inflammation. 4. Foods rich in protein and zinc. Protein is the building block of immune cells and antibodies. Zinc is an important micronutrient for the immune system. Chicken, skinless, fish, eggs. Beans and legumes, lentils, chickpeas, black beans, are rich sources of vegetable protein and zinc. Milk and dairy products. Yogurt provides probiotics, which are good for the intestines, where 70% of the body's immune system is located. Nuts, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, are rich in zinc. Foods to limit or avoid. Some foods can make inflammation worse and put a burden on an already sick body. Fried, greasy foods, difficult to digest and can promote inflammatory reactions. Processed foods, fast foods, contain a lot of saturated fat, sugar, and additives that are not good for the body. Sweets, carbonated soft drinks. Sugar can weaken the immune system and increase inflammation. Red meat, beef, lamb should be limited because it can increase inflammatory reactions in some people. Alcohol, beer, coffee, causes dehydration and affects the body's ability to recover. 5. Menu suggestions for people with Chikungunya. Breakfast: oatmeal porridge cooked with bananas and a few chia seeds. Morning snack: an orange or a glass of guava juice. Lunch: White rice, eat less. Steamed red tilapia with ginger, spinach soup with shrimp. Afternoon snack, a jar of unsweetened yogurt and a few strawberries. Dinner, shredded chicken porridge cooked with carrots and mushrooms. Drink a glass of warm turmeric milk before bed. Focus on a healthy, balanced, easily digestible diet rich in vitamins and minerals, with a special emphasis on hydration and anti-inflammatory foods. Combined with adequate rest, this will be a powerful support to help your body overcome illness and recover faster. Summary: Chikungunya is a clear reminder that our health is linked to the health of our communities and the environment. A small act like emptying a puddle of stagnant water can also help interrupt the transmission cycle of the disease. The fight against chikungunya and other mosquito-borne diseases is a long-term battle that requires the cooperation of all of us. With knowledge and responsible actions, we can build a strong shield to protect ourselves, our families, and our communities from these potential dangers. Thank you for taking the time to watch. If you find this video useful, please share it to spread this important information. Don't forget to click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on in-depth content about longevity and healthy living from the channel The Kwong 68. The video ends here. Hello everyone. Thank you for watching. If you find it meaningful, please give me a like, share, and click the subscribe button to motivate me to continue making videos.